What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck Club here again. All right, y'all. I wanted to do a separate video on this because there's another fantastic content creator that shares my sentiment when it comes to the international headliner, Candace Owens. Girl, you just keep making head waves. So we're going to check out Nate the lawyer. Nate the lawyer is a actual lawyer, bar licensed attorney in real life. And he did a video and he kind of commented on some of the comments that were being left on his video regarding this whole debacle of Candace Owens and her 8-part series of her just now saying somehow Brigitte Macron was never, a mother. She didn't have 3 children. Somehow died. It's getting out of control. And when you have to change theories up after claiming that what you were saying previously is a matter of a fact, now it brings into question the legitimacy of everything you've said to the average reasonable person. And when I say average reasonable person, I mean, what would that come down to in a matter of court of law? Because there's a whole lawsuit against you, Candace, from the president of France. Actually, you can't make this up. So we're going to check out Nate the lawyer's video. And then I have another video I want to show from another fantastic content creator, JWhit Podcast. My brother and friend in Christ, and I appreciate his creativity and he allowed me to use this video. He did a baby video. And it's so adorable. The baby's adorable. You guys, when you look at anyone, and you see a baby version of them, it's like, oh, give this instant, level of innocence. Even though, Candace, you keep saying some ridiculous stuff, but the baby video is just too cute. We can't ignore it. I wanted to show this. So we're going to do both in this video here. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. We are growing here. I want to thank you all for tuning in and supporting me here. And just being patient with me. I know it's hard to get a lot of content out like I really want to during the week, but I have a regular job and it's a lot. So, but I want to thank you all so much. And then make sure you consider becoming a member. We have fun. We're going to have a members only live tonight. And I'll try to do a members only live at least once a week. And I make it good. It's entertaining and it's fun. And people come in and, the members of the LLC can just kind of talk about whatever they want to talk about in a safe space. And I do believe in that. So I just, hope you guys consider that. And thank you so much for your support here to the channel. So let's get to it. Oh, man, we're going to let Nate the lawyer, have his moment here. And he really touches on some things that I just find to be, an important reminder as a content creator. Diehard fans are going to say and do all kinds of things in the comment section, but you guys, you're having a meltdown because she got hit with a lawsuit. People have the right to file lawsuits. Get over it. No one is holier than thou where they can't exercise their right to file a lawsuit and seek justice in a court of law. Whether they be, in the U.S. or in France. It is what it is. And none of you, that are leaving these comments, you're not attorneys. You don't know how this is going to work in a court of law. And if you are attorneys, then I know you're not leaving comments to try to come off like, she's telling, the legit truth here when it comes to facts and evidence of things. Where's the proof that this woman died a long time ago, Candace? You need evidence for that, hardcore evidence. You're making some wild theories that are, to me, I would never wish death on someone just to fit a moot point that you wouldn't be able to prove in court. That's what you need to remember. Y'all, these theories and conspiracies don't always work in court. Even if she tries to use it as a defense, the judge is not going to try to change her opinion of things. But the judge is going to help her understand. You got to make clear the difference between your opinion and a matter of a fact. That's what's leading to this lawsuit. The defamation, the malicious intent. Come on now. This is very straightforward. And if you read the definition, make of it what you will, but how it works in the court, it works based on the definition of the term malicious intent. The end. So let's hear out Nate the lawyer. Shout out to you, Nate the lawyer. And thank you for saying what you're saying, because people are having meltdowns everywhere.
All right, I'm doing this video because the comment section on the video I recently did, the video's up here, going over the lawsuit between Candace Owens and the French president and his wife are like insane on stuff. And it just got to the point where I keep responding to the same comments. So I said, you know what? I got to do a video to respond to all these comments at once, because it seems like people are just being like ridiculous with their response. So the first thing I think I'm going to need to address is that you had a lot of people said, hey, Nate, this video is so biased. It's crazy. It's only like it's from one side. It's only the Macrons saying this bad stuff about Candace. My response to that, what did you expect? The Macrons have written a civil complaint against Candace Owens. Of course it's biased. Of course it's going to be against the other side. Of course it's going to make her look unreasonable. Of course they're going to overplay the evidence they presented. Why would they not, right? Exactly. I'm reading the complaint. And
let me tell you all something. Okay, just like the Macron's attorney is going to be overly zealous representing them, Candace's attorney is going to be overzealous representing her. So what should not happen is the attorneys start lying like hell, because then, you know, their whole integrity and just line of ethics is going to be put into question. And then it'll piss off the judge and they could possibly be sanctioned, but whatever. But they're going to say what they believe to be the truth on behalf of their client and try to justify the client's belief and theories and all this other stuff. They're going to try to do the same thing in their response to the lawsuit when it comes to representing Candace. This is where reading becomes fundamental and should always be at the forefront. In all thy getting, get understanding. You can't get understanding if you don't have knowledge. So you have to read the information. She has not filed a response to the court. I don't care what she's doing on her YouTube channel, because YouTube is not court. At least Candace knows that. I wish she would tell you all that. Maybe the diehard fans, Nick the lawyer, will only listen to Candace. That's what my theory is. They're only going to listen to Candace. They don't care about anything anyone else is saying. Her diehard fans only listen to her. So these words have to come out of her mouth. You guys, that was the complaint. It's going to be written and tailored to make me look like crap, but my response is going to be epic. Then that's all she has to say. They will say, oh, okay, never mind all the attorneys saying the same thing. They will definitely pay attention if it came from her, though. So here's where we are in life. You have to allow the response to come from her attorney and be filed to the court, not her videos she's posting on YouTube. Those videos are irrelevant. All right, let's get to it.
It wasn't biased. I would say it's a bad complaint. It's not going to be neutral. It's not going to say, well, Candace has a point here. No, it's going to say everything she's saying is nonsense and we need to get paid. And it seems like people don't understand that's what's going to be in the complaint. That's the way you cover a complaint. Here's the allegations. Here's what they're saying. Do you think on the face of the complaint, do they have a shot? Here are some of those comments. Nate, it's clear that your comments are based more on personal bias than a well-rounded understanding of the case. I don't have a well-rounded understanding of the case.
No, you don't.
I'm reading the complaint and what the complaint alleges. And if they allege X, Y, and Z, of course it's going to be biased, because it's the Macrons putting in a very biased, one-sided document to say, here's the craziness, right? So now if Candace has put some...
The complaint is not going to be written to give Candace any leg up or room to even have the jury or the judge even merely think that she's right about anything. The goal is to debunk all the things that she said. And everything she's saying thereafter can still be like the video she did recently, talking about, here's my new theory. And, you know, it's obvious she existed. Okay. But is it obvious? How is it obvious that she may have died before giving birth and that her children aren't her children. Good grief, Candace. But that's the point of the complaint, is to represent the stance that the Macrons are taking. And then the defendant, Candace, will have her attorney file a response, and then hopefully a motion to dismiss this whole thing, but whatever. Because good grief, even if they just go straight to a motion to dismiss, they're going to debunk everything that's said in the complaint to try to invalidate it. I mean, most times, especially in these civil procedures like this, you know, the idea is, okay, they filed the complaint. The response to that should be to debunk the complaint itself, not to give energy or a life to it. They're not here to help fight for her. They're fighting for themselves. That's how court works, people. That's how it works in court. No one needs to be neutral or anything when we're reading the court documents. We're reading those court documents as for what it says. Everybody has the right to infer from the filings, the complaint, and when the response lands in court and is filed, you have the right to infer your own interpretation and your thoughts and your opinions from it. But we're reading the information. The end. Take it away, Nate.
Something else out. I'll read that. You know when? When she tells the court, well, this is why the Macron's complaint is all BS. And then I read it and I'm like, oh, this is why this was right. These aren't crazy allegations. Here's another one, Nate, because you might have some bias against Candace. My impression. Lord. What bias? The bias is in the complaint, right? The complaint says you are dumb and these are bad allegations. So yeah, I'm reading the complaint, which is obviously biased against Candace. So then it leads us to the next question. They
don't owe her that.
Why didn't I watch Candace's 6-part series?
No one needs to watch them.
Bridget. So here are some of those comments. You need to watch the series, right?
No.
You have to watch the series. Nate, watch the series. We expect better from you. Crazy accusations. I take you didn't watch all the information from becoming.
Somehow the crazy accusation that Brigitte died and gave up her identity with no facts or irrefutable proof that she even died goes over your head. Vashti Ruth. It goes over your head. Yeah, no scientific proof that someone underwent some sexual change of some sort, which would have happened in an OR in a hospital. You would have, medical documentation to prove that. None of that has been presented, though, in none of these series. He's an attorney. Those who understand the pursuit of truth and facts, finding a fact, law, and evidence. Watching the series is not going to do anything but piss us off, really. We don't need to watch it. Take it away, Nate. Take it away.
I'm in Bridget. Now, I want to respond to this directly. No, I did not. I am not going to watch the series. I don't care about the series. I think the series, a 6-part series on whether this person's a man or woman, is a dumb series. But there's a whole bunch of people who want to watch it and a whole bunch of people who like it. That's fine.
We're not
I care nothing about the series. You know what I do care about? What Candace says about the complaint. So I'm assuming Candace Owens knows exactly what's in that complaint and exactly the evidence that refutes those particular claims, right? I don't have to watch her 6-part series. No. She's going to tell it to us in a condensed, surgical way to say, this is why all of this stuff is junk. So I'm waiting for her response. And her response to the complaint is going to be biased, one-sided, and written in a way that clearly makes her look like the victim, and everything that she says is correct, right? Just like the complaint was saying how they're the victims and everything they're saying is correct. So until I get that response from Candace and her attorneys, which they have to do, which they are going to do, then why would I watch the series and do her work for her? She's going to tell me why, exactly. Right. So the first video about the complaint is going to be biased. It's going to be all about what the Macrons say, because that's who's telling us the story. We haven't heard from the other side yet. So yeah, I'm not going to watch Candace's 6-part series. Are you crazy? No. You know why? Because Candace is going to tell me exactly what parts of those 6-part series are relevant.
And Nate, the lawyer, I mean, he does take time to respond to his comments. I mean, personally, I respond and leave comments, and he'll read it and heart it and stuff like that. He's a much larger content creator. He has a much larger platform, rather. than I do. But Nate, the lawyer, has reported on other topics to which I've had communication with him, and he does respond. But what he's not going to respond to is just flat out buffoonery. Okay. He's not going to do it. You guys are talking about watch the show. The show still does not show medical proof or documentation that this woman underwent a whole sex change. That's it. Candace did not even want to accept the birth certificate. Like, what are we doing? But guess what? The court might. The court will. The judge and jury will find that piece of evidence to be credible. Testimony is evidence to Candace and all of, diehard supporters. I watch Candace for entertainment. But I'm not watching this series. And I know it's going to piss me off. I think a platform knows me well enough to know what I will spend my time and attention doing. It's not going to be to watch this series. Not at all. Not even a little bit. All right. Take it away, Nate.
That disprove that complaint. I'd rather do it that way than me sitting there and watching all 6 hours and saying, what does, no. And another thing is the court is probably never going to watch that 6-part series.
Right.
So it may even be irrelevant to the court case. What will be relevant is what Candace puts in front of the court as a response.
Yeah.
So I don't have to watch the 6-part series to read the complaint and say, hey, these are crazy allegations. And then read Candace's response to the complaint and say, okay, these allegations are debunked by what she says. That's the way it's always been. That's the way we do every lawsuit here. So I don't know why it's laughable when someone says, Nate, this video is biased. Rereading the complaint. Yeah, the complaint is going to be biased. The video is going to be biased. Why? Because it's only one side of the story. And when I do the video for Candace, guess what? It's going to be biased. It's going to be biased for Candace. Why? Because it's going to be telling her side of the story.
Right.
Like, look at this comment as one that doesn't understand what reading the complaint is. He or she, I'm not sure. You need to watch the series. That is not her wedding pic. It's her deceased sister's wedding pic. He was not 15 when they started their affair. He was 14. She was near 40. Really, watch the series. It's mental, but all backed up with sound evidence. That is your opinion.
Sound evidence.
The Macrones have put out a legal document with that picture in it, saying that's her.
That's
right?
her.
You're telling me, hey, in the series, Candace said it's her deceased sister, and they had evidence. Okay, fine. But I don't trust that. I don't know if Candace is going to use any of that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait for Candace to reply to the court, which she has, I think, about a month to do. She's going to reply.
Also, who knows if the court is going to accept Candace exhibits that she claims to be proof to support her theories. If they're going to even accept it. The judge could reject it. If she tries to present a picture to say, or she says, well, no, that's not Brigitte Macron, that's her sister. And here's a photo to prove that this is her sister. The petitioner's attorney is going to say, Your Honor, we would object to that being submitted as evidence as an exhibit. I mean, they're just taking a picture of the sister in the sister's wedding. It's not the same exact photo. Maybe it's Photoshop. Maybe we need to authenticate it or have it validated or vetted or however. But they could object to it, and the judge could say, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to permit this to be submitted. That could happen. Could happen. So that's why you let these things play out in the court of law where it belongs. Because this is a whole matter for the court now. Court of public opinion is being put to the side because the court of law is going to make the determination. Hopefully it doesn't go that far, but take it away, Nate.
And say, hey, that's actually not her wedding pic, but her deceased sisters. And then we come back and we look and we say, oh my God, it was her deceased sisters. Here's the evidence Candace put forward to court. But Candace may not put any of that. She may say, hey, that evidence is wrong after we reviewed it. I don't know. But right. I can only go with what she's going to respond to the court because that's the only opinion that matters. And the only opinion that's going to be informed by that information is the court's opinion. Now, there are some lawyers out there who think Candace Owens is done. Here is Robert Barnes. He's going to tell you he thinks she's done. She's finished. She's going to have to pay.
She really believes it. She thinks it's all factual. And she wouldn't back off of anything. Anything. I mean, claiming somebody's their brother. I mean, for example, confusing intersex treatment with transitioning. Those are two totally different things. Totally different things.
By definition.
I mean, like she's busy falsely accusing, hey, you brother, you don't exist. Hey, you parents, you don't exist. Hey, you mother, You're really a transitioning leader. Oh, Louis Vuitton. You wear Louis Vuitton. Oh, that means you're into the trans movement. What the hell? I don't believe anything Candace is saying in this regard. I think she's batshit insane and belongs in a loony bin. We'll get to the Trump asylum stuff later. I think she's a pure grifter. Hey, everybody, you never go full retard. Wow. You know what else you do? Don't do? Never go full Kanye. Never go full Kanye. Is that they told her it was wrong over and over again. That they included, birth certificates, official government documents, photographs, other newspaper reportings of her birth and a whole bunch of her marriage and so on and so forth, all of which Candace says is fake, basically. But produced all of this, that everybody...
Her saying it's fake doesn't mean that that's how the court is going to see it either, right? So, once again, the judge could accept the exhibits that the Macrons have presented to Candace time and time again as acceptable evidence. And it's going to be introduced through the testimony of the First Lady, Brigitte Macron, and Emmanuel Macron, the president. So if she doesn't have exhibits to, that just serves as irrefutable proof to support her claims and theories, the judge is going to remind her, it's just your claim in theory, but it's not a fact. You have no evidence to support it. You saying you don't accept the evidence doesn't mean anything to the judge, because the discovery phase, Candace, is not the point where you sit here and try to get the court to grant you discovery to help prove your defense. You should have that before you get to that point. The discovery phase is a sharing of information, but the judge may not ever grant your demand for blood draw or DNA genetic testing. And they don't have to consent to that. They don't have to. It's not something that I don't think a reasonable, sane judge under any law would even demand that someone do in this type of case. In this, you're talking about a defamation lawsuit. You're the one accusing her of being born a man. She just go in and say, well, my defense is all these photos, my birth certificate, other legal documents, and her testimony, which is evidence to say that she was born a woman. She gave birth. She got married. These are her in these photos. She will die a woman. The end. And she has not died a long time ago. She's very much alive, and she is who she is. You have to think about that. Remember, testimony is evidence. All right. Take it away, son.
The Daily Mail had debunked it years ago. That every independent review had debunked it repeatedly as to each and every one of those statements. And then they would say, "You said this was in a documentary. It's not. You said this wasn't in a document." They would go. So when I was going through, it's only like 125 plus factual statements of different kinds you'd have to defend as a defense lawyer. It's like the chances you win on all of them are none. So like she's going to get hit. And then the only question is, what's the verdict size? And you look at how a normie would respond to this. It's not like Sandy Hook, but they're still going to respond really badly. And so the verdict's going to be very high.
Now, just to be clear, that's Robert Barnes. That's the attorney for Alex Jones. That guy. That's Alex Jones' attorney. And he's telling you these things. Remember, Alex Jones had to pay $1 billion or has to pay $1 billion for defaming the Sandy Hook family.
Oh, yeah, he was terrible.
Robert Barnes also defended Nicholas Sandman. Remember, that was the teen who the news organization was calling a racist. He got a settlement for that guy. So Robert Barnes has been on both ends of the spectrum, the loss and the win. With that being said, I'm not going that far as Alex Jones' attorney is going. I'm saying the complaint, reading it in the best light of the plaintiff, is 50-50 to me. So with that being said, when Candace...
But the burden to meet is 51-49. The 51% is what pushes you over the edge to meet your burden. You should need to be 51% convincing. It's a preponderance of the evidence. If Alex Jones, Robert Barnes, Alex Jones' attorney, is saying this, as crazy as Alex Jones is, I'm just finding this like, wow, I am amazed at what he just said. And he was Alex Jones' attorney. And they lost like hell. What? This is about to be something else. Oh, God.
Responds. He's going to read her response. I'm going to read her response. And then I'll say, well, her response makes their complaint even better. or it makes it even worse and she's going to win. Now, the difference between me and Robert is Robert's already come to that decision based off the complaint. He says the complaint's so strong, he doesn't really imagine anything she can say is going to change his mind. I'm saying the complaint was really good. It had a lot of details in it, but I can see Candace saying, well, here's the reason why I don't believe that wedding photo is 100% real. And here's the evidence that shows that why it's not. I just don't know. And I'm not going to watch the series because she may not even point to anything in that series. She may have some other information. So that's why I want to make sure I'm only evaluating what the court's evaluating, because the outcome of this case is not going to be off things that were just said on the internet. It's going to be on things that were presented to this judge. Now, at the end of the day, I did this video so people out there who expect me to watch Candace's 6-part series on Macron being a man, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to watch it. I don't need what they said. At least that's what she's supposed to do when she responds to the court. And also, the Macrons, I expected their complaint to be one-sided, to be biased, as it was, as everyone in the comment section easily realized. I am not going to do Candace Owens' lawyer's job and say, this is how you debunk all their claims. She's going to do it. She's got the high-powered attorneys, and they're going to respond. And it's funny because when she responds to all this stuff, you're going to see the exact reverse. People who hate Candace are going to be like, oh, this is so biased for Candace. And they're going to be like, no, it's reading her response. It's going to be, it has to be biased for Candace. It wouldn't make sense if it wasn't. So hopefully this let all you people out there know why I'm not watching Candace's series, why I don't care that the complaint was one-sided and biased, because it's supposed to be one-sided and biased, and the fact that when Candace does respond, we will find out why she believes she should win this case. And the reason that to me, I think that's good enough. I want to show the baby video as well, but I think that's the bulk of it. What Nate is saying, and he's right. He's right. He's saying, listen, I don't have to watch this to be able to read the complaint, read the response, in the other court documents, to be able to kind of give some thought behind this. He can't speak for the judge presiding over the matter either. So he can, make a good theory and a guess on who would probably come out and win. But being that the bar is not that high for a civil procedure, and that this is a matter of just, preponderance of the evidence here, it's not proving beyond a reasonable doubt. This is not a criminal matter. So like, there's no reason to do that. I would not even, like I said, the judges watch YouTube channels as well, right? The Macrons could easily do an amended complaint. She did another video with another theory saying that this woman died a long time ago. She never gave birth. Those aren't her kids. She's not a real mother. All those things could be added in an amended complaint. Could very well be amended. I don't know if they would be in the mood to do it, but they could if they wanted to, or provide additional or supplemental, information. And I think the discovery phase is when they could come across something like her, recent videos and say, listen, this was not included because she did these videos after being served the lawsuit. And we want to add this in and add it to the case. So they can easily add, additional, evidence and additional claims to help support the defamation. That she's not trying to retract anything. She's admitting that, she existed, but now you're taking away her motherhood. No one should be doing that, Candace. You would not want anyone to do that to you. But they can amend it. And then, of course, she has her response and then going to exchange discovery. But it might not go the way she thinks it's going to go, talking about, I can't wait to get the discovery phase. For the judge to still shoot down your request for blood, that's invasive. You have to, based on a finding of fact and law, explain to a judge why that judge should order, the First Lady of France to give up blood. Otherwise, more than likely, I see that being denied. Right? So she's going to have to work with the evidence she has, that she claims she has. Why not make sure you put that in your response, Candace? I mean, it's all, anyone can tell you to do. So
I wanted to end this with a little laughter. This is from JWhit Podcast, aka DWC, Dear Woke Christian, my brother in Christ, and good friend, great content creator. Shout out to him. The link to his channel will be below, and you guys should go check out JWhit Podcast here. There it is, JWhit Podcast. I am subscribed. I gave this a thumbs up, and I just thought this was so adorable. Trump called Candace Owens to shut her down over Macron conspiracy. This is so cute. So I wanted to show this. We can end this with some laughter, just because of the adorable factor of it all. And so, like I said, y'all, you got to sometimes just laugh at some of these conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are what they are. But it should never take the place of a finding of fact, law, or evidence. It just shouldn't. It's its own bucket. Conspiracy theories. All right, let's get to it.
I have something to tell you from the White House. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me. And so he just jumps right into the narrative. He's like, I'm negotiating. You wouldn't believe how many pieces this person wants this person. If this person wants this. And you have no idea how much is involved when you're trying to get one of these deals done. We're talking about the president of France taking me aside to talk about your podcast. And then continues his narrative. And he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is like, he tells me, she's old and this is really, really impacting her. And I said to Trump, and I will be honest, that at that moment, I realized that one day this is going to go into my autobiography. And so I got to say something funny. And I said to him, respectfully, Mr. President, it's not my fault that he married someone with a...
I can't see myself swinging my...
Y'all, this is a Golden Girls baby video. I'm going to show that later. Oh, my good Lord. That's how it ends. That was funny. I enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's the baby video from JWhit Podcast. Oh, man. All right. We had fun. Shout out to Nate the Lawyer. Shout out to JWhit Podcast for the great content here. I wanted to put that forth so that you all can understand. Nate the Lawyer is a lot more nice than I am. I don't do foolishness. Now, you can leave your comments below. I encourage you to, but I'm not watching no series. And I don't think anybody that's interested in the legal aspect of this is going to sit down and watch the series like that unless they just want to sit down and have more stuff to talk about. But they know that it doesn't really have much sway in the court of law. And even if she cites it still comes down to, finding of facts and evidence. That's what it comes down to, people. Court is court, but court is not YouTube. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys make sure you hit the like button and share the content, share the videos. Let's get the views up. Let's get the likes up. Keep up that weird algorithm that YouTube wanted to create to make it hard for everybody. And make sure you guys subscribe, become a member, and ways to donate to the support to the channel will be in the description of the video for Cash App and Zelle. If you would like to support the channel, super thanks, super chats, all those things are also welcome. And I appreciate all of you. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.